Thank you for joining us today. At Hope Bridge, we believe that open conversations can create understanding, reduce stigma, and inspire positive change. We invite you to listen with an open mind, reflect on the insights shared, and be a part of building a more compassionate community.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Mental Health Week dialogue. Today, we are honored to introduce Mr. Swarnava Banerjee, an integral part of the Hope Bridge family, where he serves as the merchandise and collaboration head. Through his dedication and leadership, he has played a significant role in building collaborations, expanding outreach initiatives, coordinating events, and strengthening the organization's mission of promoting mental health awareness and community well-being. Alongside his contributions to Hopebridge, Sharnovosa is pursuing a master's degree in clinical psychology at Adams University. He has received clinical training at renowned institutions including Calcutta Pavlov Hospital, Antara Psychiatric Hospital, and Indian Institute of Psychometry, and has gained hands-on experience in psychological assessment, diagnosis, case history taking, and mental health evaluation. With his unique blend of clinical knowledge, organizational leadership, and commitment to advocacy, he continues to create meaningful impact both within the Hope Bridge and beyond. Today, he joins us to discuss the important theme, the courage to vulnerability, redefining male strength. Please join me in warmly welcoming Mr. Sharnavu Banerjee. So my first question to you is do you think younger generation are more comfortable into expressing their emotions, or do you think that same pressure, that of the previous generation still exists today?
To be honest, the younger generation are much more open about their emotional feeling, but at the same time, the pressure still does exist equally. Nowadays, stigmas against mental health and therapy has massively eroded, and with schools and colleges having proper dedicated counselors to help out students and schools teaching about emotional intelligence and all, the burden that was previously with our generation has reduced a lot, but definitely the pressure is still there.
So my second question to you is do you feel comfortable, openly talking about your feelings, or why or why not?
Okay, for me, I am not that comfortable speaking about my feelings and all, because while I grew up, stigmas and all were heavily applied while we were growing up. Especially, I was introduced to psychology much later. It took me quite a few years of time just to understand what actually it is. So after that understanding still takes me, I am like free from my previous self to compare to my current self. Like completely not talking about my feelings and all. I was suppressing. I was not doing what I felt like. But nowadays, even though I can express, but I cannot express feel.
Based on your own childhood, is there anything you think that you would do differently, when you're raising the next generation?
Okay, there are a lot of things I would do differently. While growing up, this stigmas, as I previously mentioned, were heavily implied on us, and whatever we wanted to truly pursue was not an exact option. Like somewhere we were forced to just study, do this, do that, and follow that same basic old ritual of just studying, going to tuitions, completing my education, and just getting into a professional self, rather than I personally wanted to pursue different passions that I really loved, really craved to follow. I would definitely, for my next generation, I would definitely understand what they want, what they desire, and actually help them and guide them to achieve that. So, for example, if my son wants to be a dancer, I will definitely, place him into a very good academy where he can pursue that, and I'll help him, guide him to the whole process. If my daughter wants to be a cricketer, I'll just, admit them to the best coaching that is available and that is more helpful. Plus, I would become their first point of contact and their best friend, because I have done a lot. Like every person does a lot of things in their life, I have also done a lot of things. So my first thought process after me doing anything was, my parents shouldn't know this, I messed up. But for the next generation, I would be their safe place where they will approach me and they will be like, we messed up, or I messed up, I need your help, I need your guidance. I will be there to help them out, rather than criticizing them, rather than telling them, you did this, what will the society think, what will they do, they're going to say this, they're going to say that. I would try to completely omit that part from their life. So yeah, I will definitely do a lot of things differently for the next generation.
So, like as you said that while growing up you wanted to pursue something else, but you ended up choosing psychology, right? So, like, can you like walk us through like what you exactly wanted and what were the difficulties that you had faced to not be able to achieve that, for which you had to shift to something else? Because like growing up, it is
Hmm.
always like, as far as I know, men have, like men or boys, for a matter
Hmm.
of fact, they've always been told always have to take science. There's no place in arts. You have to take science, you have to be an engineer or a doctor, which is
Hmm.
currently leading up to a lot of suicide these days. I mean, it was always there, but it's pertaining to
Definitely.
grow. So how would you like to address that?
Okay, while growing up, I actually wanted to pursue right occasionally. But the problem was, as growing up, when I was trying to choose a career after 10, that is the more crucial time, the pressure was there, but it was not, for me, it was not direct due to my father being my, savior and all. The pressure I could feel, this all those eyes, rolling eyes, the disappointment, it's gonna follow literature, what's gonna happen in the future, what happens, what he will like, he's gonna end up writing books, what is it, how will he earn money, this financial factors actually triggers a lot. So with all those pressure, and also I was introduced to psychology during that time. I had some sessions of counseling and all. So during those counseling sessions, I found out what psychology truly is, and also I started self-studying, about the subject, what truly matters, what it is about. Then I found out on a loophole, which was pursuing psychology in the future. And also I thought, I cannot pursue my this whole literature thing. So why not psychology? Like, if I cannot end up being the person I really want while studying a particular subject or something, I should be the person helping others to guide their future. Like, if they need that guidance, I can be there. So that's how that journey.
So sir, like, can you like share a time, when you were like, when you felt you were vulnerable, which has strengthened your relationship with, people, like a particular place where you thought, if I can be vulnerable to someone, it will help me, like, strengthen the bond with the other person, family, friend, teacher.
That has definitely happened.
Hmm.
That has actually happened much later in my life, when I started my college, and I chose my college to be a very far off one, just to escape. I thought I'll be someone, I can do something, I can be that, I can do that. That actually I did all that in my graduation years. I did everything what I wanted. you know I literally, like, every some point of the time, me and my friends used to dream that college life should be a life that is based on Karan Johar's movie. They show all this crazy thing happening, this happening, this. So yeah, I imagined like that. But yeah, definitely when the reality hit, it was nothing like that. Definitely the college I chose, the environment, the structure itself might have been that, but and the different things were not. So when I actually started going to college, I did experience a lot of things previously from my experience while growing up. Due to the stigmas, due to the pressure, I actually did sacrifice a lot of my childhood, and I had to be much more calm, composed, understanding, especially a problem solver. Like I have been trained to be that, and I still do that. So when I reached college, and I saw that friendship is not always about having like a transaction. It's just friendship. So there were times where I was very vulnerable to friends of mine, and especially now I have very few friends. uh, I'm very close to my cousin. Yes, definitely our relation with her was very is still very close. The vulnerability actually helped us be very close. Also, I have very few friends. Those friends also really know me. Our bond actually did increase. The brotherhood became very strong while being vulnerable. So yeah, vulnerable. I was vulnerable at sometimes.
Okay. Um, a heartfelt thank you to Mr. Swarnava Banerjee for this meaningful and thought-provoking discussion. Today's session has shown us the vulnerability is not a weakness. It is a sign of courage, and it's about self-awareness and growth. We hope to leave a very deeper understanding of men's mental health and the confidence of these important conversations. Thank you again for being a part of this journey with Hope Bridge.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone watching. If you found this conversation valuable, please like, share, and subscribe to Hope Bridge channel. If you have any questions, do write them in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.